Welcome to the Fit Fellows podcast. With over 40 years of combined personal training experience, they are ready to share their knowledge with you to help you grow your business, keep your client communication sharp, and be confident and fulfilled in your career as a personal trainer. Pay attention, because the Fit Fellows be spitting knowledge. Here are your hosts for the show, Russell, Michael, and Michael.
All right.
Hey. Hey.
Welcome back to another episode of the Fit Fellows podcast. All right. You know a lot about these, huh, Mike?
Dude. Nah, not really. Nah. I think that might be you.
Okay. Today's show, we are going to go over the top 5 ways to lose clients in a big box gym.
But
first, gym story.
Gym stories.
Who's got? You got a gym story.
I got a gym story.
All right.
So this kind of goes in line with losing clients, though I'm going to say it. I did not lose this client, but let's go ahead and put it out there. So we have a wide variety of clients with different attitudes. I was training this doctor at one point in time who was very specific on what he wanted. And hey, I'll oblige that. You know what you want. And as long as I can work that out for you, we'll be okay. So he comes in the gym and we've been training 5 days a week, every single day. And each time he comes in, he wants to be pushed. And I'm just like, okay. So I'm pushing him. So a few times it's almost as if he wanted to tell me how to train him. And for me, and probably most of you listening, that doesn't really sit well.
Nope.
So I said, okay, look, I know you've hired me to do a job, so let me go ahead and do it. So we'll move on past it. So one day he comes in and we start to work out and we start to do some lunges or something like that and some stairs. And he's just like, oh, I want to do this. And I said, look, we're going to be doing this. We have a goal. Let's go. He's like, no, I want to do this or I'm leaving. And I was like, well, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but go ahead and go. Little buster. Exactly. So he looked at me, I looked at him, and he turned and walked out and left.
What? Wow.
Left the gym. But he came back the next day.
Crazy, did?
He came back the next day. We still continue to train for another year.
Oh, okay. Crazy. I was going to say, it's not what's his name, is it?
No.
What's his name?
So sometimes, the moral of the story, you got to stand firm in what you do. And hey, if they go, they go. They come back, they come back. But that's training.
Yeah.
Crazy. That's a crazy story.
Right.
Walked out on you.
Walked out on me.
Bummer, dude.
First time ever happened. Walked out. It's good, though.
Wow.
I mean, that helped me, for now, because you can't be afraid to lose clients. You can't be afraid to lose people. You have to stick with who you are and what you do and what you bring to the table. And if it just doesn't align right, it doesn't align right.
That's going to be a big future show right there.
Right.
But sometimes, that's going to happen, right? You're going to lose clients. Sometimes it just doesn't work out, but sometimes there are
it's
things
your fault. Yeah. You screwed up.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we're going to go over the things that you have some control over. You can avoid doing these things so you can avoid losing clients. So what's number 1?
Numero uno. Being late.
Being late.
I don't even want to jump on this one.
I was going to say, the one sitting here who's notoriously late.
Only to the first one, though, right? Only
Right.
Michael.
Only to the first client. Only to the first client. Then I'm here.
But yeah, he says he's never lost a client for being late.
I've never lost a client
That's
from being
great.
late.
No, okay, so
good.
So for the listener, that's a personality thing for Mike.
Yeah.
So he makes that work. But
For the rest of us,
yeah,
being late, that's obviously, man. The clients, it's their money, it's their time. And, they, especially when they're new to you as a trainer, and even if they're new to the gym being trained, like that's a big one.
Right.
That's just a big self-respect thing. And yeah, their time is their money. And and also the thing for me too is I've seen this is with trainers who are consistently late. It also shows in their training, their programming, their approach to their business. If they're sloppy with their time, then they're sloppy with their business. And clients that have the money to pay for this, almost all of them are going to see that, and they're not going to put up with it.
Right.
they know exactly what time it is.
Yep.
They
of course
know.
They know what time it is. That's
Yeah.
good.
Of course they do.
Yep.
It's a simple thing, but you have total control over that, right? Like you have control over when you show up, and it makes a good impression on the client, right?
Not only being late, but like you're saying, they watch the clock. They watch the clock to when you finish the session, some of them too.
Right.
Like
Absolutely.
if you're 5 minutes before the hour and you promised them, 55 minutes or an hour and you're supposed to push up to that time, man, they're paying attention to that clock.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in a big box gym.
Yes.
I always remind them because sometimes they forget. They think it's an hour. And I was like, sometimes I go an hour because I don't have things to do, but the sessions are 55 minutes, and that's to give me time to wash, go to the restroom, do what I need to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes I'll remind them, but LA Fitness does 25-minute sessions.
Yep.
I don't know if they do that at other gyms, but you can believe in a 25-minute session, they want every single second of that. Yeah, so don't be late.
Right.
Number 2.
This one's Mike's too.
Yes. Got to make sure your shoes are fresh.
Man.
Okay? Fresh sneakers, fresh kicks, just make sure they look good. Okay. Don't have them dirty, dingy, beat up. They're going to be looking at it, especially if they're doing crunches and they see your dirty, dingy feet.
Now, where'd you get this one, Russ?
Yeah, so Idea Fit pulled people with personal trainers.
Now, what's Idea Fitness?
I'm not sure. I mean, they're a group, right? That
they're a fitness company, and they do like workouts, they do exercises, they promote trainers in their business. So just for those of you who may be new, like Idea Fitness is a good resource for training.
Right. So in this poll, I think it was like 1,700 people with personal trainers. I think it was like number 2 reason why they would leave. Yeah, number 2.
That's shocking.
Was if their shoes are old, raggedy, or dirty, or have holes.
Wow.
What?
Number 2.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I thought about it. I was like, yeah, you're in close proximity. You see them for at least an hour a week, sometimes 2, sometimes 3. They're going to notice, right?
Right.
So
that does make sense now that I recollect, because, just going through certifications and stuff, they always talk to you about your appearance and make sure that your appearance, that you're groomed, that you're, when we were at the big box gyms, we had to make sure our shirts were tucked in and everything was appropriate. So it makes sense that if you look good on the outside, shirt, pants, and groomed, and then your shoes are dirty, it's going to be looking pretty funny. So,
I spent some time in the military, and they go over all that stuff, right? Like personal appearance, iron, all this stuff. But a lot of people don't have that, and they just come, from their neighborhood or background or whatever. This business, the clients who afford training, like Michael said, they're usually well off.
Right.
And they're usually used to dealing with people who are professional, and they pick up on all the little things. So
right.
I just got to say, like, this is an interesting one for me because we talked about this before the show. Like, I'm a guy who buys shoes like once every 2 years. Come on, man. And the guy sitting next to me has a closet of literally over 50 shoes.
Oh, are you serious?
Right? And so Mike's shoes are always clean because he wears one shoe a day and they're different every single day of the month. Come on, man. But I got the same shoe all the time. But I will say, like, when I thought about it, I care for my shoes.
Right.
And they're also the shoes that I wear for training. Like, I don't wear them when I go horse around with my kids at the park, or when I go hiking, or when I'm kicking around the city with my wife or something. Like, I have my training shoes. Right. And sometimes I even have shoes when it's like muddy or wet or whatever. I have shoes in my office that I change into when I come to the gym. So I don't wear my dirty shoes from outside when the weather's bad. In the gym, I switch to my indoor training shoes that I keep in the gym. So that's a good tip right there. Like, keep clean training shoes that are just for the gym.
Right. That's like he says, he's got his kicks that he wears once every year, but he keeps them clean though. All that matters. Keep them clean though.
I've never seen these shoes before. Brand new.
Brand new 2 years ago. He's worn them 3 times.
It's Kyrie's, a little product.
Sup, bro?
Basketball player over here.
They are brand new.
They're pretty brand new.
Okay, so when I first heard that, I was like, okay, and I started to think about trainers. So can you imagine now some trainers, without naming names, that had some really
I can picture trainers
shoes?
that have some bad shoes.
Stinky.
We don't say no names though.
And their businesses certainly don't fly to the sky, that's for sure.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
That you can make that correlation?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good one. I would have never thought of that.
Right.
Okay, number 3. This one seems obvious, but this is a fishbowl, right? Everyone sees what you're doing here.
This is a messy subject right here, so be ready.
Right.
Okay, number 3 is
being on your phone.
Boom.
Yeah.
This is kind of a tough one though now, I say. And I say this because of where we've advanced to. If we think about it, Everyone is on their phone. Trainers are now programming their workouts on their
programs
phone.
are on their phone.
So it's a tough one because a client will be upset if you're on your phone texting and things like that. But if you're programming or timing or something to that nature,
so be careful.
It's okay. So it's really a touchy one, I think. What do you guys think?
If I'm ever on the phone, I'm always explaining to them what I'm doing.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, that's good.
Yep.
Or if I'm using a timer, I'm showing them, they can see.
Right.
Is it a training tool or is it a personal tool?
Right. That's what you have to decide if it's important for you. And if the client, doesn't like it, then you make adjustments. Hey, if you're programming on your phone, then put it on a piece of paper, and switch it up. Ultimately, you're just trying to appease them to make the experience better.
Unfortunately, not every client's going to voice their disapproval.
Right.
They may just notice it, make a note, and never tell you.
Pay attention to people. They'll drop off and they won't even tell you why.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Be aware of your clients and how they're absorbing you during the session.
Right.
Yeah. In the previous show, we were talking about potential clients seeing you.
Yep.
And that's a big thing, right? Like, oh man, you may be only programming, you may only be entering their reps and whatnot, but they don't know.
Right. They don't know.
They're like, that trainer is always on their phone.
On the phone, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I get that. I would say like a ton of my clients that are like very like business savvy, they will comment to me, oh, I see that trainer's always on their phone.
Right.
Like they comment that to me. They're aware of that and I'm training them. And so if it's something that my clients are seeing, like other people are watching it.
Right. And again, I think it also boils down to engagement, because if it's hard for someone, or I guess it may be easy for other people to judge like, oh, they're on their phone or they're this, but how's the experience with their client? Are they engaging them properly? Are they still getting a great workout? Like what is happening within that session? Are they fine? So, and I think it just depends on the individual.
Yeah. So it's not black and white, but be careful.
Be careful. Walk that line.
Yeah. I mean, the owner here, he's often on his phone, but his clients understand he's running a business
as well as training. Yeah.
Yeah.
He has to be.
He's got like 90 trainers. He's got
a lot going on.
Deal with the building, tons of people. So I can see his clients give him a lot of leeway with the phone. So
right. We had a trainer here that was utterly ridiculously on his phone.
Facebook, like blatant Facebook.
Dude. Right. No engagement whatsoever. Didn't know what was going on with his clients. And it's crazy. He had, a somewhat successful business, but he was just a terrible, terrible trainer in that regard. And people noticed that. I think everyone in the gym noticed that.
The whole
That's
gym.
how he was.
Yeah. The atmosphere changed when he was around.
Right,
so,
right.
And he didn't last long. He didn't last here.
Right.
he had a lot of clients, but the turnover was like fast.
One package and they're done.
Yeah, that sort of thing everybody picks up on too, right? All right, number 4.
Number 4.
You do this all the time, don't you?
No, never that. I like how you tried to play me. Little buster.
Number 4, canceling on your clients.
What the heck is that, huh?
So cancellations are inevitable, but sort of what we're talking about is they're ready, they're pumped, they got you on the schedule and you cancel on them.
Right.
Of course it depends on how much rapport you have with them, your relationship, but they don't like that. They really don't like that.
Come on, man.
I think actually that's one of the strongest ones why they will let you go.
I do too. I think that also when you start canceling on them, they start canceling on you.
It goes around.
It just starts becoming this endless cycle of cancellations or reschedules, and it doesn't help your business. I mean, obviously, you're trying to plug in the spots where you want to see people at, and if you have your schedule already set, now you have to take that person and put them over here. So you don't cancel. Most of the time, your clients aren't going to cancel that much too. So,
and why is this such a big deal?
I think it's respect. It's about respecting our time, the time that we have set out and we agreed upon. I think it's definitely about respect, respecting someone's time.
Yeah. So talking about it in a big box gym. So in a big box gym, there's all these procedure, right? With cancellations. So they cancel on you and you cancel on them.
Yeah. 24-hour notice and all that stuff.
That's right. And people are going to know, your sales staff's going to know, your boss is probably going to know.
Yeah.
And it's just never a good thing. I mean, plus you only get paid for the sessions you work.
Right.
So cancellations.
I will say this, I've experienced this one in an interesting way. I've had a number of people who are working with another trainer, and they've watched me train, and they see how like serious I am and how respectful I am of time. And I've been approached, hey, would you train me? Because my trainer keeps canceling on me, and I don't want that anymore. Right. I actually wasn't able to pick up a client that way, but because they wanted to train at a time I already had another client. But I said, you know what, I got a good friend that's a great trainer, and I think he's available at that time. So I was able to pass off a client to another trainer because she just got tired of being canceled on all the time.
Right.
So a good buddy of mine picked up a client.
So we're talking about us canceling. So let's say you had to cancel. What are some of the things that you tell your client, or what would you do?
Honest, be real reasons. Yeah, for sure. I mean, and you got to be respectful of your time, like be wise with your time. Okay. Like I have to schedule a doctor's appointment, or I got to go grab my kids this thing, or I've got to, pick up a friend from the airport. Like life happens,
right?
But you're honest with them, and you're upfront, and you're not doing it on such a regular basis that it becomes like a pattern with them.
Right. And that really boils down to like what we were talking about earlier and being late. It's just time management. If you manage your time well, then you're really not going to be canceling unless some crazy things come up. Yeah, for me personally, what I would do is if I cancel on a client within 24 hours or last minute, I give them a free session.
What?
Obviously, I don't want to give a lot of free sessions, so I try not to cancel a lot. So that's something that was beneficial for them because they feel that, hey, he does respect my time. And this is just life happens. Life happens for them. It happens for us. Sometimes we can't, foresee those things occurring, but do what you got to do. So that's helped out for me.
I empathize with them. I understand what it's like to be canceled on. And so like if a client cancels on me and they're so nonchalant about my time, they're like, oh, can we just move it to another hour? Or let's just do it tomorrow at that time. If they think like that, one, I'm probably not working with them, but they just have no respect or understanding of my time, right? And so the same thing goes for them. If you're going to cancel on them, and you treat it as no big deal, and you're like, oh, well, let's just move you to another time, that's not going to go very well. Right. I mean, maybe it will work for them, and then maybe it is that simple, but at least for me anyway, I would express an understanding of knowing that, hey, this was a commitment. I had to break it for this reason.
Right.
Just that you understand it.
Communication is the key to success.
Yes, 100%. So along those lines, if you sense that there's some sort of bad feelings about canceling, do you bring it up?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Directly.
Yes.
Direct communication is always the best.
Right.
So you cancel on the client. Next time they come in, you kind of sense something's off.
Right. Yes.
Yes.
I usually find some clever way of segueing into the conversation, not aggressive, not just like, hey, so I'll notice that maybe make light of it some kind of way. If they're that type of person, really just have to be able to read who the client is for sure.
Yeah, apologize. I think like Mike pointed out, there's always something you can do to cover over it. So like if you've canceled on them and it's like a last minute thing, you can offer them a free session if you felt like it was appropriate.
Right.
But always just maintaining that relationship is the most important thing. So if you cancel them last minute, and they expected it or whatever, figure out a way to bring that relationship back to a good position.
Right.
If you have a client that just doesn't understand, like don't beat yourself up, about it. Like, life happens. If you lose one because you had an emergency,
right,
and they're not understanding, you don't want that client. You don't want that client anyway.
No,
right?
Incredible point.
Yeah.
Don't beat yourself up. You got to live to fight another day. There's more people that you're going to impact. Life is life. You got to roll with the punches.
Yes.
It's like a roll Russell. Buster. Don't even try it.
All right. Number 5 on our list.
Number 5.
This one actually took me a while where you guys learned this pretty quick. So number 5 is don't put them through a workout or don't do what you want with them. Find out what they want. Right. So what does that mean? Right.
So that means basically you have a style, you have a way that you train. You might see someone and say, oh, they need to work more here. They need to do this. Now, we all do that for sure. We definitely do. But you also want to give the client what they want. And so sometimes we, in our expertise, we say, well, this person is limited with their shoulders, so we're going to be working the shoulders a lot. And in their mind, they just want to come here and just let loose. Yeah. They want to come here and talk. They want to come here and just have a friend or have someone that gets them through a workout that is not, what they want for themselves. So I would say is that try to focus more on talking to the client, deciding what they want, discerning what they want, feeling what they want, and then give them workout based on that. Don't be trying to give a 60-year-old lady a bodybuilding split or a bro split because that's all you know. She doesn't need to do bar squats, to get healthy, especially if she's limited.
Yeah, well, I got a story about that. So, I asked you guys about this and you're like, yeah, that's the best client. If they don't want to be pushed, I'm not going to try and push them. And I was like, oh, okay. That took me a long time to realize that. So I came into this business thinking that everybody wants to improve and be pushed. And that's sort of how I train my clients. Part of what I feel like they value was my ability to notice, small incremental changes where I can make small improvements and push them a little harder. I thought, okay, everybody wants that, right? And then you can look back and you're like, look at where I've come.
Right.
Until that one client was like, Russell. And she paused at that too. She said my name, Russell. If I do 10 push-ups today and a year from now I do 10 push-ups, I am happy.
Right.
My mind was blown. I was like, wow.
If you get it now, I don't have to keep on saying it.
Yeah, and so that took me a long time in my career to realize that okay, she's okay with that. She just wants to come in, do her little light workout. It doesn't remove that feeling that I want to push her, because I think that's good. But back to the list, find out what it is that they want. Right? What do they want? Do they want? I mean, for the most part, I think they're going to look to you for direction.
Right.
But some people are not. Some people they've got in their mind, this is what I want. This is how I want to do it.
Right.
If you deviate from that, you're potentially going to lose.
Pay the price. Yeah. Right. I learned this one the hard way. So I had a client. She was a great client. 3 times a week. She was pretty consistent, but she was really stuck on the machine thing. She just wanted to use machines. Mm-hmm. And man, as a trainer, like that's almost an insult, right? I mean, like we're trainers because we know what to do with the body in all kinds of different ways. Not that I stick you on a machine and I just put the pin in the weight and then you just do it.
Right.
But that's all she wanted to do. And so I kept trying to do things, little things, add things in here and there. And she literally went to my personal training manager and said, I don't want to train with him anymore. And so I lost a great client because like I just wouldn't let her sit on the machines and do the work. Right. And so real quick I learned, I was like, all right, some people just like, they just want to do things a certain way or they're comfortable with certain things.
Right.
You try and push them and they don't respond well, then maybe don't push them. Not everybody wants that. And yeah, so, in a way of just respecting the person and their wishes.
Right.
But I learned that the hard way. I lost a good client. So, hey.
I think we all did. I had, at Bally's, the model when I first learned there was, man, you just got to push them, and then they'll know that they need the workout. They need you. And so I did that for maybe 5-6 months and literally got no business. I would try to make people throw up and they would, get sick and they would never come back. Up? Man, yeah, because they would tell you like, oh, you got to work them. And so you're doing all these supersets and you got any age group just doing crazy stuff and they're dying. And I'm like, okay, so that was great, huh? Oh, yeah. And I'm trying to force it on them. And I'm like, all right, let's go down and sign up. They're like, oh, you know what? I'll get back to you. Didn't have any business, no business.
Yeah.
So I definitely had to make those adjustments and realize that you got to really feel them and figure out what's good for them and what they want and go that route.
Listen, train with your ears.
Yes.
Just listen.
Oh, yeah. One of the things that, this is sort of off topic, but if you don't know your client's exercise history, their expectations, there's no way you can design a workout for them. There's no way.
Right.
I would say you have to have at least a half-hour conversation with them before you even do anything. Have they had an injury? Are they afraid of something?
Have they been working out in the past? How long were they working out in the past? Like so many different questions.
Yeah. And if you don't know that, so one of the things I learned also was to inform them of soreness. If you exercise, if you do strength training, you're aware of soreness, but it's easy to forget that some people have never, ever done strength training, resistance training in their life.
Right.
They have no idea what delayed onset muscle soreness is.
Yep.
And you put them through a workout, you feel it's light. 2 days later, they can barely sit down, they can barely move their arms, and they're afraid, right? Because they're like, did you hurt me?
Dude,
and so
why the hell would
little,
you do that, man?
Preparation of telling them, goes a long way.
Right.
But if you don't, man,
it's going to be rough. You ain't going to have no business. So
yeah, introduce making them real sore, like maybe 6 or 7 training sessions into it. Like then they'll be able to handle it. But like you got them on 1 or 2, you might lose that client.
Right.
And so, some guys or, guys and gals, they thrive on like hurting their
clients. Right. Yeah, that's what they're proud of.
I know a few trainers like that. Don't even try.
No, I mean, like, yes, they're that's their goal, right? Sometimes I had to combat that, and like let's say they worked out with someone, they're like, oh, I was so sore, and you're thinking in your head, well, if that was my goal, I could get you sore too,
right?
But that's not not my goal. Right. So, all right, let's recap the list. So, top 5 ways to lose clients in a big box gym.
Number 1, being late.
Don't be late, Mike.
Don't be late. Don't be late. Number 2, make sure you have some fresh, clean shoes. Actually, and that just goes to appearance too. Just, look decent, look nice.
Sure.
Number 3, being on your phone. Okay, that just goes
That's
with...
a tough one. Stick to one. Figure that one out.
Right.
Be careful. Oh, so just to point out, there are some clients I have my phone out all the time. There are some clients I never take out my phone.
Yes, right. Number 4, canceling on your clients. And number 5, doing what you want instead of what they want or need in a workout.
Bang.
All right, so let's move on to gym gadgets.
Gym gadgets.
Bum, bum, bum.
This is your favorite, right? This is your favorite.
No, it's not my favorite.
This is your favorite.
Little buster. You're not my friend.
Shut up.
All right.
Yeah.
The ab wheel.
The ab wheel.
Ab wheel, ab roller.
This comes in a variety of forms.
Right. Look at that spin on it.
Small ones, big ones.
Got that spin on it.
So for the listener, this is a hard plastic wheel with a handle on each side, right? And you sort of roll out on your knees or whatever. All right. Is it worth it? Do you get this?
Yes. It's worth it, but it's also very tricky, and it's something you can hurt yourself on.
Ouch.
I never hurt myself.
Well, I'm just saying. Other people maybe have hurt themselves on it. Just saying.
Yeah, for sure.
Overextending, going out too far, improper technique, definitely. But man, this is a killer. I love the ab wheel. I use it a lot myself as a starter or sometimes in between sets. Something that's easy to use. You can go multiple directions. It's fun. Keeps it tight.
Yeah. So
you wouldn't know about that though.
In a big box gym, you won't see this because most things that can fit in someone's bag, they're going to either walk off or they're not going to carry it. So this is going to be an item that you're going to have to decide if you want to get it or not. I vote yes. Yeah, I like this a lot. I think clients really like it if they understand how to use it. And like you said, they can get hurt.
Right.
So, but there's a lot of variations. You can go on your knees. You can make it very challenging. You can make it pretty easy.
Right.
You can assist with a band to get back up. So this is pretty versatile and it's pretty inexpensive, I think. Right. So
$10, $12.
Yeah, know what you're doing when you use this, but it's actually helpful.
Right.
Really helpful.
Right.
So I would say, to speak on people getting injured, the abs are working in here, but if you have tight hip flexors, you're going to be hurting them even more.
Right.
So yeah, definitely understand and know how to use this piece of equipment before you go out and get it. So,
Right.
What are your thoughts, Michael?
Yeah, I love this one a lot. Yeah, I've used it a lot. It's definitely a piece that I like the different varieties of this. Like this is a small one, and for those that are listening can't see it, but it's a small one. It's probably like, 10-inch wheel.
Yeah.
But there's some big ones, where you strap your feet in there.
Oh, yeah.
Those sorts of things. And so I like the different versions of this. Yeah, this is super effective, but know how to use it before you use it because you can hurt people really easily with this, but it's effective when you know how to use it.
There's even one that has like a spring recoil. Have you seen that?
Oh.
Where when you roll out, it coils up and then it gives you assist coming back.
Oh, nice. Because that's really where people, start to have limitations when they're coming back.
Right.
Going out, it's easy, and then they belly flop if they go too far. So
yeah, but the way I use this in between strength sets, right?
Yeah.
Like give them a little bit of break, or even those clients who have a lot of core strength,
right.
a lot of abdominal strength, you can still challenge them with this. Right. So
I'm just thinking of a client who, we were doing the ab wheel, and you have those clients. This is totally off topic, but you have those clients who like, oh yeah, I can do that. So he gets the ab wheel out, and he's like, oh, I used to do like hundreds of those at a time, like 100.
Yeah, right.
He tries to do it standing up. Deconditioned.
Oh man.
And just rolls out and straight flops on the ground.
Talk about a belly flop.
Right. In the gym, and had the audacity to look up at us like, y'all ain't gonna help me up, Anyway, so yeah, be careful when you're using the ab wheel.
All right. So the consensus, I think, is that it's worth it, right?
It's worth
For
it.
a gym gadget. You're going to get pretty good use out of it. Your clients are going to get benefit. It's not too expensive. You can carry it around, walk around.
Right.
Pretty good. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in to another episode. I hope you got some useful information from this episode.
We're here.
Yeah. If you'd like to hear more helpful stories about the life of a trainer, stay tuned to the Fit Fellows podcast. And if you have any topics you would like for us to discuss or stories from your own personal training experiences you'd like to share with us, please let us know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We know you got some gym stories out there.
Come on now. Give us some gym stories. Come on.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.
Yup.
Thanks for checking out the Fit Fellows podcast. You best be tuned in next week when they drop that knowledge for your ass. We welcome your input and feedback, and you can find out more about the show at www.thefitfellows.com. Thanks again for listening or watching. We out. Peace.